let's say welcome back. The National Election Commission, Madam Tiveta Brown Lassana, suspected.
Good afternoon. Welcome again to the second press briefing from the senatorial by-election here in Nema County. Members of the Board of Commissioners, Madam Co-Chairperson, fellow colleagues of the media, let me welcome the Chairperson of the National Elections Commission who will address this press briefing at this time. Madam Chairperson.
Thank you very much. On behalf of the National Elections Commission, let me welcome you once again to this second press briefing here in Sanniquellie City Hall following the conduct of Tuesday's 22nd April 2025 Nema County Senatorial by-election. Fellow Liberians, the people of Nema County, I am delighted to announce that the Nema County Senatorial by-election has successfully and peacefully ended without any report of violence. Thanks to the people of Nema County for the peaceful manner in which they turned out today to vote for a candidate of their choice who will represent them in the Liberian Senate to replace the late Senator Prince Y. Johnson. The polls, which opened this morning at 8 a.m., has now closed minutes ago across Nema County. What we cannot report is if the turnout is low or high. But I guess in the future, in a few days, we may be able to determine, as there has been a registered number of voters of 307,254 persons who were registered voters. We anticipated that they will participate in this election. We can only do this, meaning that we can only know whether that amount or that population participated when the counting and other processes are over. Fellow Liberians, the people of Nema County, as of the report of this press release briefing, our legal section has informed the Commission that it has received no complaints from anyone regarding the process. Finally, the Commission extends thanks to the Liberian National Police and other security agencies for the level of security provided to the senatorial by-elections in Nema County. We also say thanks to the government of Liberia for providing the funding for the conduct of this by-election. And to the donor community, we say thanks for your support. We also like to appreciate the Liberian media, including various community radios across Nema County, for the coverage of the senatorial by-election. Members of the press, the Commission assures all Liberians, mainly the people of Nema County, stakeholders, and electoral actors, that the NEC will continue to work with you to the successful conclusion of the senatorial by-election. On this note, let me, on behalf of the Commission, extend an open invitation to all stakeholders, the media, local and international observer groups, political parties, to witness the tally process beginning tomorrow, Wednesday, 23rd April 2025. The tally process will be conducted at two magisterial offices in Nema. That's at Sanniquellie and Tapita. We will now take your questions, should you have any. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Lassana, Chairperson, and members and commissioners of the Board of NEC. My name is Shalom Escono. Once again, I report for Media Forces newspaper and that of Radio Emergency. The public is concerned based on the resumption of talent processing tomorrow, whether the team of commissioners will be based here in Sanniquellie to provide an update, or will go to the headquarters of NEC.
In our first press briefing, we announced that daily at 1 p.m. and 6 p.m., the Commission will be releasing preliminary results from the Liberia senatorial by-elections here at this venue. Let me also say that at this venue, the Board of Commissioners will be represented, but at the tallying process, they will not be there. The tallying process will be held under the aegis of the magistrates with the technical staff that know how to do this work. They will be the one conducting that process, not the Board of Commissioners.
Thank you. I'm Sarah Augustine, marriage union from Focus on Liberia. I want to know, were there any challenges faced by NEC while conducting the by-election in Nima County?
I wouldn't say these were challenges. I would say that it's normal that during the conduct of these by-elections that sometimes it is difficult to deploy materials to fire away areas. But thank goodness that we were able to do that. So we don't see any particular challenge that actually affected or prevented the process from going on. As it is now, the process did happen. It went on, and Liberians who are invited went to the polls and we exercised their franchise for those candidates that they wanted to vote for. Yes.
So thank you. Yega Kwaita, a report for Punch FM, Punch TV Live, Aurora. Another concern when it comes to the polling center, prison center in Yekepa, RTSO Yekepa regulation building. Did the National Elections Commission see that building before considering it as a polling center? Because for what was here, it was a photo and video in that possession. I saw that 3 o'clock this afternoon, we were arriving here, but the building is dark. The place is copper parts, just that warehouse or whatever. Did the National Election were forced to conduct elections in that kind of building?
Let me say that we have challenges, yes. That is one. That would be one of them. Prior to elections, we do assessment of the various precincts. We get to know that they are okay for us to use. And then on election day, we go there to conduct our business, which is the voters coming in to cast their votes. And like you say, if we go there and we meet, as you were saying, the different things that looks like it's a home and somebody is cooking or what have you, then of course we probably have asked them to put aside their utensils or whatever, and we conduct the elections there. Some things we are in control of, other things we're not in control of. One of the things we're in control of is that precincts that are set up that we use as a polling place, we have control over them. And the elections did happen at that location. One of the problems that could have happened if we had decided to leave that area where you have the parks and lanes as you were suggesting, to find another location probably would have been very difficult for the voters when you come in and you have to go to another location to have, to do the voting. So some things we have to bear with, because the Commission does not have its own infrastructure that is so huge and cost intensive to have our own infrastructure to be able to conduct elections or voter registration in those places. So we use the infrastructure that is available to us, meaning that schools, sometimes churches, more as possible within the vicinity of those institutions, we conduct by-elections and general elections. So this is just one case that you are speaking about, which does not appreciate that it cannot happen to other places, but we take the measures to make sure that these elections are held in a place comfortable enough for voters to come in and cast their votes.
Madam Chairperson, my name is Samuel Kakane, and I report for Strong FM Strong TV Liberia. My concern has to do with polls have closed by 6 p.m. today, and tally will take up to 10, 11, if possible midnight. How will the ballot boxes be transported from various centers? Will it be under the auspices of party observers, or how will the process be in terms of monitoring the transportation process?
Let me say to you that polls are closed, yes, at 6 o'clock, and usually what happens, the polling staff will pack everything, and then there's retrieval of those ballot boxes to the central location, which is the magisterial offices, where in the conference rooms they will receive these materials, and then the next day, which will be tomorrow, they will conduct the tally process. This retrieval is an immediate action after any elections that happen. And what was your last concern?
It has to do with the monitoring aspect of the ballot boxes from the various sectors.
And so let me say that we have a Liberia National Police that has been working with the Commission in all of these processes. They are available, and I'm sure many of you have seen them. They escorted the materials here to Liberia County, Taputa and Sanniquellie in our warehouses, and they remained on the ground to secure them. They have also been called to various precincts and polling places. So on the retrieval, they get to escort these materials along with our staff to the magisterial offices at Taputa and Sanniquellie. So you can rest assured that these materials are being protected by the Liberia National Police, including our own security department.
Thank you. My name is Anthony Williams. I work for State Radio. Speaking of the University Short, I just wanted you to provide some clarity and speaking of transparency regarding the tallying process. I know of the NEC's credibility. You've held several elections, but I want you to just throw some light on the tallying center, speaking of the presence of observers, political party agents. How will it be done? You know, will we have like previous elections where you have international observers on the panel? You also have political party agents. I want to throw some light on the tallying process. I also want to join my colleague and throw some light on the issue of transportation of the ballot boxes, because I know Liberia County, especially speaking of hard to reach places, I've been to be thorough. I know how difficult it is to go over there and to and fro. So I can throw light more on the transparency aspect of the tallying process. Thank you.
You have just said much with respect to the transparency aspect. And I would just add that during the tallying process, as you have rightly said, you have local as well as international observers who will be there and are part of the agents. And if I'm going against what is the norm, the operations department is also there. And we also have a commissioner who is chair for the members to steering committee. Perhaps they want to add, any commission may want to add. But I mean specifically, everything is in place. This is something that has happened repeatedly. The commission has conducted elections for the last, I don't know how many years, and the process is amended by individuals who have integrity and they will exhibit that during the process. This is the tally process is in full view of everybody. There's nothing to hide there, and where there may be challenges of some figures or additions or subtractions, they are able to right there in that center before the finalization of anything, before the final results are even conveyed to the Board of Commissioners or So you will be a done, and you will be the one to tell the people that the Elections Commission tally process was free and fair, and there were testimonies from the party agents as well as from the observers or monitors who would be around to see how the process goes.
Madam Chair, David Major from the Liberian Investigator. This afternoon, I came in contact with a group of young people who said they've traveled from Monrovia and they were allegedly recruited by the National Elections Commission to come and serve as elections officers. But upon arrival, they noticed that some other people have occupied the post probably they would have occupied. And they claim that they are stranded because they expected that you would have taken care of them. How are you addressing this thing?
Firstly, to say that any issue of such needs to be investigated, and we have our team on ground to do that investigation. With respect to them being stranded, again, it has to be investigated. How did they come? Whether in fact their names were listed, or as we say in Liberian way, whether they were promised that they were on the list. All of these things will have to be researched. So I would not, or the Commission cannot say emphatically to you that what they are saying is true, and we cannot even deny that whether what they are saying is untrue. But there has to be some kind of investigation. Because we know that it became a viral situation. Everybody is calling to find out what has happened with these people. But we ourselves have to know what the truth is. And when we get to know what the truth is, then we deal with it.
So my name is Archie Sebobiene, and I report from Lace FM and TV.
Thank you. Let me say to the investigator. We can say that when the recruitment portal is placed for recruitment, do not have control on who applies and where they come from. What we do know that the recruitment portal requires who has an agreement to work for the Elections Commission. So in this by-election, we have 3,000 now and 5 fully staff. So wherever we come from, we go to the training, we do a buffer of training personnel. When the listing come up, we don't know where you come from, we don't have time for where you come from. All we need from you is that you qualify, you apply, and go to the working the electoral process. So to say that they are stranded, they come from over, we don't know them. There is no database in our system saying you come from over, because all those who apply, the 9,000 persons that apply for the processing to work for the Elections Commission, they apply in balance. So when we're looking at that, we're looking at that in balance. So the buffer is that when you are qualified, you are shortlisted, you are qualified for the Elections Commission, you have to go to the Elections Commission. In other you come from anywhere and say you are stranded, because it could be some from America. So we don't see people coming from different countries, but we know that the Elections Commission will be people to work for right the electoral process. And on that group, you are qualified on the process, you are contracted for the Elections Commission. On the basis of the tallying, we don't do tallying at the polling centers. Tallying is done at the Biosphera office. So all the 7 candidates, they are being informed that tallying will start tomorrow at 9 o'clock. And we encourage all of them to send a party meeting to the Biosphera offices to ensure that we know that we have 100 local, international, and local observers in the process, both from Leon, ECC, and Wene. They are also in the process of that international partners who are very supportive of the process. They are also observing the process. So in the tallying process tomorrow at the Biosphera in Sanniquellie, and let me also inform you that in Sanniquellie we have 3 tallying centers. And in Interpreter we have 2 tallying process centers there. So on the show, and we want to encourage all of them to send their party agent, their observer to the tallying process that will start at 9 a.m. Because we intend to ensure that we do the analysis at 1 p.m. and 6 p.m.
So let me say the Elections Commission is under obligation investigation to know what has happened when it comes to those persons who are claiming to have been registered through the portal and who are claiming to have been shortlisted. We need to know what has happened. And this investigation will go on.
So again, my name is Archie, I report for Blaze, radio and TV. There have been a series of social media reports concerning violence in places like Campley and other parts of Namibia. I want to know whether these concerns have reached the election commissions, and as it relates to the security of the ballots, because we observed in previous elections in places like District Number 4, some of those towns where re-elections were being conducted, ballot boxes were thrown in rivers and other things. So what is the security of the ballot boxes as it relates to that?
We are working along with the Liberia National Police to help the Commission to secure the process, as we said before. On retrieval, our members will go there and take the materials along with the NEC staff to bring them to the magisterial offices. In our process, we are escorted by the Liberia National Police. We are still on ground and we are going to take this process in the way how we have done before to bring them to the magisterial office. So we say the process is secure until something happens. We don't want to start looking at the difficulty when in fact it has not happened. It's important to remind us of what has happened before, but we cannot say that because it happened before, it happened again. Until it happens, we will have remedial measures to ensure that these ballot boxes are intact. If it happens, there are also measures to ensure retrieval or to get these persons under the law for having taken our ballot boxes when in fact should not have been done. And what was your other question, please?
Issue of violence reported in places like Campley.
We've heard a lot of things, reports from you, the media, about small things happening here, small violence here, altercations, people attacking each other verbally. But what we have learned from magistrates, and even from some of your radio stations and some of the partners, is that this whole campaign and election was generally peaceful. Generally peaceful does not mean that some things may not have happened, but did they prevent the election from going on? We say no, the elections did happen. Now, whatever may have happened that you have information about, I'm sure the police was on top of it to resolve those issues. So let's look at the positives that have come out of the conduct of this process. And we want to be assured that the police done its job, and that if there was anything other than ordinary, they would take cognizance of that and to address that under their institution.
Madam Commissioner, my name is Samson Monsuri, and I report for the closing argument. Few minutes ago, two of the aspirants, Madam E. Kongowei and Mark Mayon, appeared on closing argument, raising few concerns. One, they spoke about some irregularity as it relates to one of your POS, one of the PO from Campley were caught with ballot paper. Two, they talk about duplication of voting card. Can you speak to that?
This is something that we're just hearing, and until it goes to the Elections Commission, we will not be able to comment until we have sufficient information.
Madam Commissioner, my name is Daniel, and I report for Cool 91.9 FM in Monrovia. So my concern is how prepared is NEC to pay temporary staff, especially considering the challenges you just mentioned. And we've seen several instances in the past where after completing their work, staff have misdirected or delayed in receiving their payments.
I'm informed by the finance section on the secretary that $2 million that the Elections Commission has received require mobile money to do that. Because of the number, they have to be uploaded to the platform, and it takes a few days for them to be able to conclude with the GSM companies for them to be able to take the fee. So we will implore them to wait for that time to receive the fee. It's impossible, near impossible, for the conclusion of the election at this hour, at 6 o'clock, to pay temporary staff at 6 o'clock. It's impossible. But we say the payment is there, the money is there. We don't have to go look for money to pay them. We just need to wait a little bit for the processing of the payment to be able to send it to their mobile money accounts.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and members of the Board of Commissioners.
Yes,
thank you.
just take a correction, please. In our first press briefing, there was a question asked to the effect that the question says, polling staff needed to call out the names of voters before they voted. And initially I had thought it was a problem. In other words, it was missing. But I've been guided by the legal through research that I should read to you what the law says. So give me a chance out. To answer that question, the law says, voting in person, identification of voter. Every person offering to vote at the polling place in any voting precinct during any election shall state his full name and use his registration card. If so requested by the NEC presiding officer, the voter shall state all particulars necessary for identifying his name as appeared on the registration roll under which the vote is claimed. The NEC presiding officer or one of his assistants shall verify in the register that the voter is registered and has not already voted at a particular election involved. So basically, the law already addresses that. In other words, the presiding officer takes control of what happens in there with respect to what the law says in his interaction with the voter who comes with the voting card to say their name and what have you. Thank you.
Thank you. See you tomorrow, 1 o'clock, please.